Vlog today, Sunday, 31st of May, the last day in the spring months until we enter into June, which is going to be the first full month of summer. Okay, folks, thanks for joining us. I'm going to make this video blog shorter. I managed to accumulate an hour and 30 minutes worth of footage on the first section of this video blog, so I'm just going to go ahead and make it short and complete our discussion regarding the subject of Miss Nancy Mace's bill. Okay. So I was saying, basically, it's not the most efficient or even productive bill there is, given that it doesn't show any form of public trust and equal citizenship. Okay, and so I wanted to, kind of unpack a little bit more regarding this, because not only is it a very problematic bill, it basically tells our public that somebody ought to have better privileges and access to power and overall better management skills than those that aren't born in the country. So essentially, she's trying to say is that if you're not born in the US, you wouldn't have the talent, the wisdom, the energy, or the overall public policy acumen to serve, which is extremely strange in my opinion, because she's basically isolating people that have had much more experience and credibility that she has to serve. Given that she comes from a privileged background, and there isn't a whole lot of people in our society that has her privilege, and yet she figured that it's going to be of public interest when the only people that we elect into office are those that are born in the country. So if you look at U.S. history, there are decision makers that were not born in the country. And if you were to look at the overall makeup of our current government, 99% of them were born in the country, and look where we are today. So, yeah, I just kind of want to point this out, because to me, when we have decision makers that operate the way that she does and think the way that she does, we're going to be up against a major public turmoil in which there's going to be a lot of mistrust in our government system. There's going to be a lot of disjointed policy that's not going to be beneficial to the society. And there's going to be animosity among our people, because if you promote an equal citizenship in a society, meaning that more people should have privileges over other citizens, which, I mean, it's happening now. I mean, there isn't a whole lot of difference. Everybody knows that those that aren't born in the country don't have the same equal privileges and access to resources as those that are born in the country. That's already happening now, but she basically amplified it and made it more pronounced, in which it's more obvious today. And so I was just talking about this on the first half of this video blog, because not only did she open up the Pandora box of all sorts of can of worms that will disenfranchise the public, she also created a narrative that basically forfeited her credibility as a public official, as a decision maker in our society, because our society consists of people from various backgrounds, and when you operate in a way in which you isolate certain groups of people, okay, that are citizens, then it creates a narrative, or at least indirectly implies that not everyone's created equal. And so the Constitution specifically said equal citizenship, okay, justice for all, and you know, no American is above or better or should have more opportunities than others, even though it's happening. You know, everybody knows it's happening. But by her creating that bill, she basically supported a narrative that is not publicly discussed, but is publicly accepted behind closed doors by decision makers, because majority of our decision makers, 99% of them are born in the States. So this is going to be a very problematic issue, especially if people within her own party, within the Republican Party, which I also belong in, does not, you know, call her out on it and ask her to step down from her position, because it will basically stick, and it will be, you know, something that the Democrats and the opposing parties will basically use to disqualify Republicans from public office. Not just because they weren't born in the US, they'll disqualify Republicans for leading in a society that is extremely diverse. So I don't know if you realize that. That's why I'm extremely worried on the direction of the Republican Party, especially in this year's midterm election, because a lot of people are getting disenfranchised within the Democrat Party and the Republican Party based off of narrative that it really is not very consistent to certain values that we used to believe in. Okay, folks. Yeah, that's just the reality of things. So I would like for all of the Republican decision makers in our countries to say, Miss Mace, you made the wrong call, and it's time for you to step down from public office. I'm still waiting on, you know, those public officials to take a stand and have some sort of backbone and say, okay, Miss Mace, you're out of line. But no, nothing. Crickets. Way too silent. You know, way too silent. And I'm worried because the Republican Party is losing credibility by the minute. Okay? And that's why I'm talking about it, and I will continue to talk about it until she steps down from office, because she put in a poison in our political system that will definitely destroy the credibility of many Republicans to lead. And I'm worried that no well-known Republican, okay, are talking about it. Okay, folks, so I just want to share this with you because at the end of the day, if Republicans don't have backbone and overall strength to publicly call out other Republicans that are, abusing their power and authority, then we'll lose our credibility to lead. With that said, folks, thank you so much for watching this short video blog. I will further discuss the situation on our Faceconomics podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to connecting with you again shortly. Take care. Bye-bye.